Scarecrow Crow does the same job but with less stuffing. Shareholder stalking, we join Gabriel on his permission in Cumbria. We have news, we have a competition prize, and we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Before we head off for some top crow shooting tips, Andy is showing us his new JCB. Instead of crow faster stripes, clay shot Hannah Gibson of Haynes Agricultural took it upon herself to pimp his ride with some other graphics.
I did emphasise to Haynes Agriculture that I didn't want any stickers on it. And
they listened to you then?
They listened, and Hannah Gibson took it upon herself to put a sticker on there, which I will let them get away with that one.
Crow tucks her back in bed and we're off to scare some crows. Yesterday there were 300 on this recently drilled barley. Today there's nothing and it looks like we've missed our opportunity. But Andy wants to give it an hour.
See where the crows have been digging it up? There's a chutes there, look. They just follow the row. See the road comes up here. They follow the row, they found some there, dug it out, there's a chute. And again here, look, another chute there and there. They dig down to find the corn. And again here, look, they've taken the chutes off. And what they do is it's coming through. They find the row and they just keep going. There's more here, look. See.
You think they follow the row?
Honestly, yeah, they do.
They're upright?
Oh yeah, they're clever. Yeah, they find the row and they go all the way up it.
Corvids are crafty, and so our field craft has to be crafty.
Things with crows and jackdaws and that, they're so wary all the time. So the old hide's got to blend in quite well, so it pays to take a bit of time on the hide, make a decent hide. You only get one chance at the things, just a jobby. I'll get in there in a minute and trim that up and bash it around. That look lovely. The rooks seem to have declined in this area, but the crows have just gone through the roof. Crows and jackdaws, it's just hundreds and hundreds of them. It really is. They're not the ones, twos and threes, there's hundreds. You see flocks of 100, 200 crows, and that's what's been out here, crows.
What do you reckon that is?
I don't know, I really don't know. I wish I did know. There's not enough people shooting them. Yeah, they're so destructive. We had one at the farm the other day and it was just flying up across the field and its head was just going like that, just looking through the hedges, just looking for nests.
The crow decoy pattern is made denser and put closer to the hide for two reasons. Corvids, for some reason, are tougher to kill than a pigeon, so Andy wants to hit them with as much energy from his clear pigeons as possible. Plus, if they get nervy, put the brakes on and shy off, they could still have ventured far enough into the danger zone for Andy to get a shot off.
But yeah, the plan is that they're going to come through there and they're going to just drop out over the top of the trees and drop straight down in. But best plans and all that. But no, I'll just put a few there together and then have a bit of a hole and I'll put a few more out here, just spread them about a bit really. So make it look like there's a lot here.
To show just how tough they are, in this clip the crow gets the full pattern, and yet Andy needs another to drop it.
So that you can film and so that I can see them before they see us. I'll tuck right back into the hedge, so it's over top of us a bit, but that's where they're going to, predominantly that's where they're going to come, and that's what they have been doing. And I can see them before they can see us.
So you haven't double skinned it though, have you?
I haven't double skinned it, but I've got branches up outside so that I can see through it. I can see them, but it's thick enough there that they can't see me because it goes onto the double skin there. So, no, it's working quite well at the moment.
Andy is here because the farmer asked him. There is nothing to be had for the table and nothing for the game dealer, but there is a fresh dose of goodwill and that goes a long way.
There's no financial benefit for you, you know, obviously
no,
sales-wise you'd get something back with the pigeons, wouldn't you?
Well, that's right. It's a case of keeping the farmer happy. He lets me shoot the pigeons right the way through the year. He lets me do all the shooting on here, and if they're doing him a bit of damage, I can't really say, well, I'm not shooting the crows because I don't get nothing back for it.
But as far as where people will find crows?
Well, in a couple of weeks' time, they'll be on the silage fields when they've been silaging. So they'll be getting on those. Anywhere where they're spreading muck. And again, David. Have to edit that.
Pressure shot.
Pressure shot, there it was.
So the silage fields, you said?
Yeah, silage fields, anywhere where they're spreading muck. Before they plough it in, ready to put maize in. Maize fields when they're putting the maize in. Anywhere really. Anywhere that's freshly ploughed and cultivated. I left it as long as I could, David.
Oh, it's in your crow. Go home now.
Hey?
Go home now.
I'll go and get them, otherwise they'll put the others on. So they're laying on their back. They don't like that. Best thing to do is get them picked up and up the right way. So I'll take these in and just lay them back at the hide.
We are lucky most of the birds are coming from behind, otherwise we'd need to cover our faces.
They're over the top of the trees and getting committed, and by the time they've seen you, it's too late anyway. The only problem would be if the wind was the other way and we was facing the sun, they see your faces. I mean, I'd have a face mask on then if I was facing the sun shooting them, but because we're catching them from behind, it's not so bad.
It's a bit of a mixed bag as Andy adds a few pigeons to the crow and other corvids. So, staying with tradition, what have they been feeding on?
Beans.
That's the drillings then.
Yeah, they're on a been drilling somewhere. See, these ones are darker brown when they've been laying on top of the sun. These ones are just under the surface, they've got the roots just coming on them.
So which ones have been on the surface?
These ones have probably been, once they get the sun on, they start to go brown. They go like a chocolate or dark brown like
really?
that. Yeah. Changes the colour of them. And these ones have been just under the surface. So they started to root.
Before we pack up, Andy wants to reinforce why it has worked today.
They come through that gap from the grass fields at the back there and through this gap here, and they've just been curling around in there. So I've just put the decoys that way. It was quite nice because we had the hide there, had it build up on the right hand side to which they were coming. They were just coming either through there, and they're just swinging around in front of us. It worked well. Another one coming now, look, over top of the tree, David. Video it. That's the gap they were coming through. But
Your hide looks good.
hide looks good, yeah.
Because you can't see it.
That's right. The only problem is, as you can see, the jackdaws are still coming, the crows are still coming. David wants to go home.
Well, all your fun.
You do, David.
It is a mixed bag of about 50, and considering there was not a dicky bird when we arrived, we did okay.
Thank you, Andy. And Andy will be one of the star attractions at the Braces Day, the free range day, just south of Bristol on the 8th to the 10th of June. If you haven't entered already, go to bit.ly/Braces Day. Now from braces to girdles, and it's David on the Fieldsports channel, Muse Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. A man has been arrested and charged for shooting a wolf. Caught on camera, the wolf is seen roaming across fields in Denmark. It's then shot from a parked vehicle. Wolves were absent from Denmark for 200 years but have returned in the last 5. The last recorded killing of a wolf in the country was in 1813. A judge has hit out at police after hunt members were wrongly convicted of using hounds to kill a fox. The judge said that Paul Larby, Peter White and Jane Wright of the Nottinghamshire Grove and Rufford hunt suffered a serious injustice after a sergeant failed to disclose vital photo evidence. The judge ordered almost £60,000 in costs should be returned to the group, saying that the case had not been investigated properly. American hunter Larissa Switlick has made an episode of her show, Larissa Unleashed, from the film that we produced of her Roestalking in Cumbria last year. You can watch it on the 8th and 15th of May at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Pursuit channel, or watch our version on YouTube. Staying stateside, and here's a way of getting a cheap gun. Minnesota Department of Natural Resources is auctioning hunting kit it has confiscated from poachers. The auction will take place in August via Hiller Auction Service and will include more than 200 guns and 40 bows from people who forfeited their equipment after committing game and fish violations. And finally, it's your last chance to buy a raffle ticket for a day's shooting in aid of the Gurkha Welfare Trust. If you win, you can choose a day at the Kilverston Estate sometime in November or December. It's a fully catered day for 9 guns and tickets are £150 each, and the trust is only selling £150. Money raised goes to support Gurkha veterans. You are now to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now, more than 500 of you entered the competition to win the Blaser Hybrid jacket worth more than £500, and I put you all into my phone here. So to choose a winner, we're going to scroll up like that and just click, and the click is Tom Jones. Tom Jones says hybrid jacket. Well, that'll do. Blaser hybrid jacket. Yeah, that'll have to do. And he entered on YouTube. Tom will be in touch with you to find out your address. Thank you very much for entering. Now, at the British Shooting Show the other day, Gabriel bought shares and suggested I go stalking with him in Northumberland. So I did.
That short, hot week in England in April made for difficult roestalking. Gabriel is a Fieldsports Channel shareholder, and he asked me to join him on a morning stalk on 2 patches of ground he looks after in Northumberland. The first is a 6,000-acre beat on a lowland estate. We start before dawn, and we see deer. He takes me to a box that has a commanding view of animals venturing out of the woods. It's also a wonderful place to see the sunrise. There's no dew. It's going to be a scorcher.
So the majority of the deer tend to come out of that woodland, so the sun will be rising behind us, so normally it's a nice feeding area in the morning. And there's also a little burn behind us that tends to channel the deer on this side of the estate. It's usually quite productive. It's my favourite spot usually. You do tend to see hares, herons, cormorants as well, so you never really get bored. This estate in particular could be quite notorious for buck stalking in the summer because the vegetation and the arable crops, if you don't get them by about end of May, it's quite hard to hit them later in the season. So we have a very unusual situation here where we have almost 2 bucks to every doe. So we're really trying to get on top of them this season earlier on.
As the sun rises higher, we begin to realise that the only deer leaving the woods for forage is either mad or pregnant. On our way back to the vehicle, we spot a gravid doe.
So this is an older doe, clearly with a distended abdomen, which you'd be expecting probably twins. So the family groups of this time of year must have broken up. I can see last year's kids would have been kicked off. That's why the young bucks would be establishing their territories. So it's very rare to see a lone doe this time of year, but there you have it.
With the kind of big open spaces we're seeing here, I have to ask what kind of ranges Al shoots at on this ground. He says the average shot here is 200 yards. It's open country, so hard to get close to animals, and he had to change calibre when he started stalking this estate.
Because you started with a 243?
I did start with the 243. Fantastic calibre, nothing wrong with it. It's just it's the energy element that is a bit of an issue. So you have a more chance of putting the animal down humanely with a 270 or 308 than you would do with a 243.
Time to go and see his other ground. On the way up, we stop for breakfast, and he tells me about the deer here.
And so we don't particularly get magnificent heads. Most of them, the best ones we get here are kind of bronze side. I mean, we don't get one of the, I think it's the mineral in the diet, I'm not sure. But we get decent, fantastic bodies because there's a lot of game feeders nearby and good nutrition. It was a very large boy actually, and I have been seeing him for about 2 years. very clever. Every time I get close to it, it just seems to scent me or know I'm there. So I've we've had a few run-ins since last season. So I finally caught up to him, and it was in the morning, and luckily I got him on the first day of buck season. So I shot him about 200 yards or so. It was a classic hot shot.
There's a sentimental side to Al, as he shows with a film he shot on his phone.
And I was up on the hill looking down, and I spotted them, and I just got my camera out and started filming it. And there was a time where she kind of left it at a spot, and she kind of grazed through for about 20 yards, and then she called for it, and the kid realised and got up and immediately ran to his mum. It was quite a thing to hear him actually call for the kid. I was quite touched by that, actually, and I did see that kid for a good 3-4 months after that. And, you're not supposed to get attached to it, but you can't help it at times.
The doe and kid are in Upland Forestry Commission land that Al has just taken on. Up there's a bit of wind, and a windmill at the walk-in that helpfully gives Al the wind direction and speed as he starts. We go into the commercial woodland itself, and the forestry company is hard at work, so no deer right here. But Al also shows me why he is going to have to work hard on this ground to stay on top of deer numbers.
So you can assess the density by looking at the amount of damage that's been done to the new plantation. So this sapling here, for instance, was planted about 5 months ago. You can already see they've nipped the top bud, and that interferes with the growth of the tree. And there isn't a single sapling here that hasn't been eaten, essentially. So some of it might require replantation. That's a lot of money to get that done, and it's just the amount of slots that we see on the ground, amount of droppings is significant compared to your standard estate. So this is a typical forestry block issue. It's just the density of deer is quite high. You see them darting around right to right, so it's a bigger problem, I think.
I ask him to load some cartridges into his rifle in case I need the shot for later. Ah, the magic of television. Not so magic. He needs the cartridges now. A buck dashes across the clear fell, and Al has no time to get onto it.
Just tell me what happened there.
So basically, while I was just putting my rounds in, a buck came out of the tree line and just bolted into the next tree line. Unlucky. The split second, couldn't even get on it. But yeah, you always have to pay attention at all times. Lesson learned.
And that, sadly, is the only chance of the day. Later, Al sends me this from his lowland ground.
So after we stopped filming a couple of days ago, I went in this morning, first light. I managed to grasp myself a young buck inside the wood line. Shot him about 75 yards. Bit of a drag, about 1 mile drag to the car. So I'm hoofing it at the moment, but very productive morning for the deer management that we do in this estate. Very happy. And there's the young buck.
Nice animal. It's been a long journey for Al, from childhood in Addis Ababa to renting stalking ground in Northumberland. He explains why, and I want you to hear it because it shows the commonality and the community of hunters from wherever they start.
I actually met a couple of people in my driven pheasant syndicates, and I got invited for a couple of stalks, and I went out with them a few years ago, and I kind of got hooked on it, and I now identify myself as a deerstalker than a wing shooter. But I got introduced to just being invited by friends at the shoot, and that's one of the great things about joining syndicates is you're offered opportunities that you wouldn't be allowed to otherwise. So it's been quite a good thing, actually. Yeah.
And you've done your DSC1?
I've done my DSC1. I'm on my DSC2 at the moment, hoping to complete it soon. But yeah, I've progressed a lot, and I've had the opportunity to go out with some of the best stalkers in the northern Scottish borders. I've kind of absorbed everything they've told me. So I've been very lucky to have gone out with a lot of professional stalkers, and I'm still learning, obviously, but I feel I've acquired enough in a short amount of time.
Well, thank you, Al, for helping me out with that. And if you want to buy shares, you can go to fieldsportschannel.tv/shares and have a look at how. Now, from Cumbria to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. YouTube channel My Yorkshire Hawks is out for the last hunt of the season in February 2018 in this film, and Harris hawk Cass gets her 4th woodcock of the season. For a flavour of how they walk up pheasants in Italy, here is Jägern in Italian auf Fasan. It's in German and they miss more than they knock down, but even if you don't speak the language, you will get the picture. This one's from Danish hunter Jakob Kaman, or is that Jacob Kaman? It is part 1 of the Eriksberg Slot Grand Slam, a series of outings he enjoys around the Eriksberg Palace at Katrineholm in Sweden. Staying on deer, Waikara Moana puts up episode 202, hunting fallow deer in the raw in New Zealand. Both reds and fallows are roaring, and the guys are out with a 22-250 and a 30-06 for a meat hunt and venison recovery. In Australia, Paul Boag's Outdoors has just put out Anthony Shoots Nice Stag. It's an educational film about red stag stalking down under. Staying in Oz, Peter Nobes knocks over 8 foxes over an April weekend using a 5 to 20 times X-Sight 2 on a Tikka T3 in 204. RNT Calls is on the road looking for Canada geese anywhere, as they say gloomily at the start, from Canada to Texas. But they find them and they decoy them. And finally, raccoon hunting with dogs has a year-round open season in the US state of Louisiana, and obviously there is a team called Coon Commander Outdoors, which holds regular nighttime adventures. Here's an episode from their new series airing on Sportsman TV. That's it for this week. I have put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Now, something else for your viewing pleasure is airheads. In our latest episode, Richard Leonard is after doves in South Africa, I am after rats in Somerset, and Roger Late tests the FX Crown. Click on the eye symbol top right and the link to watch it. Well, that is it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please pop over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can go to @FieldsportsChannel on Instagram. Best of all, you can pop your email address into our register page on our website, and we'll contact you about this show. Field Sports Britain, it's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday, and this has been Field Sports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.